Good morning. Let's do this first.
Sometimes in the face of trouble and in the face of darkness, I don't know who said it, but I've heard it here many times, that joy can be an act of rebellion. So this is a little joyful welcome this morning, our little rebellious act in the face of, well, lots of stuff going on in the world. This is Yonder Come Day. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. I'm singing yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul.
Day is breaking all around. I'm singing sun is rising in my soul. I'm singing day is breaking all around. I'm singing sun is rising in my soul.
I'm singing
day is breaking all around. I'm singing sun is rising in my soul. Day is breaking all around. I'm singing sun is rising in my soul. Oh, yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Oh, yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul.
Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising
In my soul.
Wow, and to think I almost skipped that. Good morning, and welcome to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship on this cold midwinter morning. We are a safe haven for all in these stormy times. I'm Service Associate Eric Williams. My pronouns are he, him. Our service leader is Interim Minister Reverend Barbara Queeman. Today's sublime music is provided by our chamber choir with Tad Coriath and Julie Morris on piano. Today's indispensable tech team is Deborah Mensch, Larry Sherwood, and Kathy Partridge. As I say the welcome words today, I invite each of you to find refuge within their inclusive message. You are all welcome here today. In all the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes and sizes, gifts and challenges that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome here. In all the ways you experience and express gender, and in the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways you make your living and the places you are from, with all of the traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here today. No matter how long you are away, nor how soon you will return, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your hearts or tears, you are welcome here. You are invited to join us with a curious mind, a loving heart, and a willing spirit. We welcome you today. Here, you will find a community committed to love, reason, compassion, and justice in all seasons for as long as we gather to light this chalice. If you're new here, we're glad you found us, and hope that whether you're with us in person or virtually, you can experience the warmth and love of this congregation. Please come back a few times to really get to know us. We also have opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth. Those on Zoom this morning, and I bet there's quite a few, can check out the links in the chat to help you get connected. People on Zoom like to stay for casual conversation following the service. If you're here in person today, you are welcome to join us for coffee hour in the fellowship hall. And if you're joining us on Zoom, please feel free to greet each other in the Zoom chat now. And if you're a newcomer there, let us know so we can greet you. Those of you in the sanctuary, please take a few moments to greet your neighbor.
A good morning to everyone online and in this room. Good morning, good morning. I'm Reverend Barbara, the grateful minister of this congregation. My pronouns are she and her. It is the tradition in our Unitarian Universalist faith that we light a chalice as the common symbol of our faith. I invite you to join in the chalice lighting words. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of our passion. Again, a good morning. Some opening words from my minister colleague, the Reverend Sophia Betancourt, the president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, somewhat paraphrased. This morning, let us turn to this larger community and the legacy of our ancestors and the shared values of our liberal faith that we hold dear. We should not need to repeat basic truths that all persons of a range of colors, shapes, sizes, and abilities, all persons of transgender and non-binary and all identities, perhaps members of my family and yours, are not only real, but sacred. Amen. That each of us is a vital part of the fabric of this nation, deserving of protection, safety, and belonging. We should not need to repeat the basic truth that Earth itself cries out for restitution, and we must not turn away from the fight for climate justice. Let us affirm that none of us need to go it alone in these destabilizing times and complex issues. We are real. We are here, together in all the ways we can be, and we will remain committed to the struggle ahead, holding out to keep hope alive and the future we will make together. Unitarian Universalists are diverse, yet we are also personally, theologically, and covenantally bound together by the expanse of love that has been the animating center of our faith, a fierce love that compels our deepest loyalty and courageous action. As people of faith, our work must be to challenge bad theologies and oppressive systems that are trying to take over our country and our lives. With respectfully submitted the words of Reverend Sophia Betancourt. And with that, then, let's continue the invitation. Our opening hymn is number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. If you wish to follow, it's in the gray hymnal. The words will be on the screen, and I think Tad will offer a few more words about singing. I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
Let's begin by singing together the line, though we've broken our vows 1,000 times. And then after we sing that, we'll sing it through in unison. And then, as we love to do with rounds, we'll just break off and choose our own adventure. Here we go.
Yes.
Though we've broken our vows 1,000 times, broken our vows 1,000 times, broken our vows 1,000 times, come yet again. Let's do that again. Broken our vows 1,000 times, broken our vows 1,000 times, broken our vows 1,000 times, come yet again, come, come, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. One more time, unison. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come in parts. Come, come, whoever you are. Come, come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come one more time. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again,
This fellowship is my spiritual home, my sanctuary, my Sangha. That is because I have freely chosen to be in covenant with you, the fellow human beings who come here. What do I mean by to be in covenant? Does it mean I can't paint my house blue or park an RV in my driveway? No, that's a homeowners association kind of covenant. Ours is more of a soul owners association covenant. Yeah? Now, seriously, when I say I covenant with you, I mean I trust you. I wholeheartedly embark on this perilous journey through time with you, my shipmates. Our fellowship's new website includes a beautiful statement on the covenant of right relationship that clearly explains our mutual agreements. It's too much to dig into in this brief reflection, so I'll mention just the first point. Quote, I aspire to treat myself with respect, kindness, and care. And I aspire to treat others the same way, with respect, kindness, and care. Well, my friends, I must tell you, I have broken my vows 1,000 times. In the privacy of my mind, 1,000 times 1,000. Somehow, I was raised to be judgmental and critical of other people, all other people. It was especially bad in my adolescence, when everyone was an idiot until proven otherwise. But it has lingered long past that wretched phase of my life. Being critical and judgmental is a lonely job, and it's exhausting. It's a love blocker. And let's face it, secret unkindness is still unkindness. Climbing out of that dank hole has been the work of a lifetime. Fortunately, our covenant of right relationship has a response to my struggle. Quote, I aspire to forgive myself and recommit if I break the covenant. And I aspire to forgive others and compassionately invite them back into covenant when it is broken. That's easier said than done. But when we sing Rumi's words, come, come wherever you are, the forgiveness being offered in those words sometimes gives me goosebumps. They grant me another chance to do better, and another. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come, yet again come, for ours is no caravan of despair. Rumi wrote those words almost 800 years ago, yet they are still rich with meaning today. I thought about that ancient caravan preparing to set forth, and I came up with a poem called The Caravan. All the camels have been watered, now they kneel to be loaded. My companions argue, laugh, sing, while packing up the incense and spices, silks and silvers, and several baskets of fine leather boots to sell at journey's end. I see you coming over the closest hill, one rider, 2 animals, palm open in a sign of peace. As you come closer, I see you smile and place your hand on your heart. Yes, wanderer, we know you from a few seasons past. But you left us in the night without a word, and people wondered. Still you come again to join the safety of our caravan through the desert, and we will not refuse you. All with good intent are welcome on this journey to help make it a joyous one. That is our covenant and our prayer. And so we say, though you may have broken your vows 1,000 times, so have we. You're in good company. Now let your camels drink. Try to get some rest. We leave at dusk when the sands begin to cool.
We'd like to sing another song for you. This is a song about when you may fall out of covenant with one another, when there may be a conflict, when you feel animosity towards someone else, perhaps. It's about holding each other, bringing each other back into that covenant, not giving up on the other person, not giving up on yourself, and remembering that at the heart of that covenant, you're welcoming a person back into a community of joy, as Eric said, a joyful journey. So that's what this song is about.
truth. We'll hold each other to the light, and we will see this through. As the sun rises, so will love. Voices are rising, so will love. We will never give up, never give up. We will overcome, we will become, we'll remember what was gone. We believe in love, we believe in truth. We'll hold each other to the light, and we will see this through. Given the chance, our love will rise. Given the chance, our love will rise. Given the chance, our love will rise. Given the chance. I believe in forgiveness, and I won't stop giving. I'll sing of all the things that make our lives worth living. We will sing through loss, we will sing through the pain. We'll hold each other through the night, and love will rise. We will sing hallelujah, we will shout for joy. We'll sing of all that fear and hate cannot destroy. We will sing through loss, we will sing through the pain. We'll hold each other through our tears, and love will rise again. Rise again, rise again, rise again, rise again. Love will rise Love will rise again.
My friends, we come now to that part of the service set aside for the sharing of the personal, the joys and concerns, the celebrations and the heartaches within each of us personally. This is not a time for announcements. This is not a time for political endorsements. This is about the personal. I invite you to come forward in the room here, form a line as you are accustomed to. State your name clearly and speak clearly into the mic, holding it out in front. On Zoom, please type your joy or concern in the chat, and please try to use focused words in the chat. I invite you to come forward now for the sharing of joys and concerns. And friends, now I invite you to come together in a spirit of prayer, meditation, and intentional focus. Perhaps you want to affirm your connections with one another by reaching out metaphorically or actually touching someone near you. Great Spirit of life, we come into this room, this sanctuary, this morning, assured that in this room and in this community, we find one another, we support one another. We know that this sanctuary, this place of free faith, can harbor, especially those under more and more assault from newly elected political leaders. So friends, we are here together, knowing that this community will support us in our individual quests, in our connections with other individuals in this congregation, in our connections outward to our families and to our wider communities that we live in, and ultimately to our whole country. We do what we can within our means to support, knowing that there are many forces out there which as yet we don't even know about. So Great Spirit, give us courage, give us faith, give us trust in our capacities as persons of free faith, that eventually we can change the world in a different direction. Let us not give up hope. Let us keep hope alive every single hour, every single minute. Keep hope alive, knowing that indeed hope is part of this community of free faith. So let us affirm our connections with one another now by sitting in a few moments of silence, listening all the more deeply to that still small voice within. Amen, and blessed be. I invite you to continue your meditation if you wish, or join in singing our pastoral hymn, Spirit of Life, remaining in your seats. In the hymnals, it's 123, if you wish to follow in the hymnal, Spirit of Life. Amen, and blessed be.
Introduction to the Sinaitics. Each week we remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives and this community by giving half our plate away to those organizations that share our values. Today, the half plate goes to the UU Disaster Relief Fund. The disasters that impact our congregations and their communities are increasing. From natural disasters like the California wildfires to widespread human-caused disasters like Flint's water crisis. Our congregations, our people, and our communities feel the impact. Funds help repair congregations' buildings, members' homes, and provide temporary relocation. Please give generously as you so often do. You can text your donation at the number on the screen, or if you're at the fellowship today, place a donation in the offering plate as it passes. Please give generously. Thank you.
For the work and witness of this congregation and the UUA Disaster Relief Fund, your contributions are gratefully accepted. So, speaking of story, our theme this morning is the story of covenant. I have a brief reading from an essay from the Unitarian Universalist Association called Unlocking the Power of Covenant. No single concept is more central to our faith understanding than being in covenant. It is at the core of our identity. It is how we try to build and sustain the beloved community. It is the foundation of our governance structures at all levels. Indeed, we have come to see that the very existence of Unitarian Universalism may very well depend on how members, congregations, and the denomination understand, practice, and celebrate our covenant as expressed in UUA bylaws. And then just a brief aside, perhaps, to that theme, that basic theme about covenant. Let me invoke the words of Amos, an 8th century BC prophet, who offered a warning to the land of Israel when they were in danger of losing their lands, losing their status as a nation. Amos called for the people to change their ways, to become more accountable for their actions. And this is what Amos asked. He said, "Do two walk together, except they be agreed?" In other words, what he meant was, is it only when we're in agreement with one another that we can walk together? And he's urging folks to walk together even when they don't agree. In other words, to be accountable to one another. So I offer this grounding from a long time ago, 8th century BC, from the prophet Amos. So during this month of January, we've been reflecting and unlocking the power of story. And as I just noted, a recent project from the UUA calls us to unlock another type of power, that of covenant. A call expressed in the title of that work I just cited, which is on your order of service. Covenant isn't unknown in this fellowship. We reflected on covenant back in October as part of my sermon series to ground this interim period. Covenant is central to transitioning in congregational life during an interim time. And you speak often about covenant in your many activities, your many small groups. And I refer to covenant a lot, both as a noun and a verb, as I invite you into partnerships in the various transitioning projects many of us are involved in together. Today, I hope our approach to covenant is practical. Covenant as practice. I invite everyone who's here today, established members, newcomers, visitors, to think on the lenses through which you already understand and live in covenant. What does covenant mean? Where does it come from? How is it important in this free religion of Unitarian Universalism? How does covenant touch everything from the simplest to the most encompassing decision or action? In our wider worlds beyond this congregation, how can covenant nurture our minds and hearts as we step into this new era in our country, governed by threat, not compassion, governed by transactionalism, not community? Wouldn't it be wonderful if political leaders who exceed appropriate boundaries would accept the central condition of covenant? That is, being willing to be called back into right relationships, even when they violate fundamental covenants, such as principles and practices defined in the United States Constitution, or when they withdraw from essential international covenants and agreements, such as the Paris Climate Accord. Wouldn't it be wonderful if our leaders could be called back into right relationships? Beyond religious life, covenants show up in many other arenas, and wouldn't we wish they were more in the political arena, but I've already gone there a bit. As Eric noted, some housing developments live in covenant. They have covenants in their communities. And we often create covenants in families, as well as in partners and marriage relationships. What covenants do you live with? What covenants define your values? No matter your current acquaintance with covenant, I wager there's always more each of us can learn and especially can practice. So I trust today's review supports you as the practice of covenant becomes more and more the story of this congregation. Our reflection on covenant this morning sets the stage for the several-month project creating an all-congregation covenant, which we will begin this coming Saturday, February 1st, during the annual Meeting of Minds and Hearts gathering. So over the course of about 4 months, we'll be coming together in conversations to articulate a covenant statement for this entire congregation, aiming for approval by the time of the annual meeting, the annual congregational meeting in early June. Everyone, members, friends, visitors, is encouraged to contribute to creating the covenant. And in turn, all of us will live according to the values of that new covenant once it is approved. It will be a condition of being part of this community. So let's review a few basics of covenant. I know you all memorized my sermon from last October, but just in case any of you forgot a sentence or two, let's review a few basics. First, what is a covenant? Broadly stated, a promise or promises for building and sustaining compassionate relationships with one another to the best of our ability. Those relationships are conditioned by common ethical values which influence actions. Unitarian Universalism, thus, is a covenantal faith, joining participants together through common values. This method of organization is in contrast to creedal religions, in which participants agree to common beliefs, which I know some of you have come from. I often shortcut this by saying, we honor deeds, not creeds. Deeds, not creeds. Say that with me. Deeds, not creeds. This is a covenantal faith. Our common values invite us to live peacefully together when we agree. This is the easy part, to walk together with someone else with views similar to our own. But more important, covenants call us to accountability, to a means of assessing our actions when conflicts arise. Connected by covenant, when someone steps off the agreed-on path of values, rather than calling the other out and likely they're going away, ending relationships, covenant encourages us to live with a mindset of calling the other back into community. Now, I admit getting back into covenant might not be easy or immediate. It takes work to discern the nature of how someone has fallen off the path and to reestablish trust and compatibility for continuing to walk together. Indeed, accountability can feel risky, but it's worth the energy. A common reaction from many oriented to creedal religion is to ask the question, so what holds those liberals together? What holds covenantal religion together? What is the glue? Grounded in actions defined by common values, our ancestors have said for a long time, the glue of covenant is the value of love. Some of you have spoken of love this morning in this community. Love for oneself, love for fellow humans, love for Mother Earth, love for truth, love which defines the standard of ethical values and actions. A well-known covenant statement used in many congregations reads, "Love is the doctrine of this church." Covenant statements, like that one, are often read during worship services, and like mission statements, they're often printed on stationery letterhead and on t-shirts and flyers about the congregation. So hopefully as you move toward an all-congregation covenant, you will make similar use of it. So where did this stuff of covenant come from? Free religion in this country has been covenantal since the 17th century, resulting in part from the Pilgrims' departure from Europe in search of religious freedom. But in turn, the Pilgrims knew their own religious ancestors, the prophets of ancient Israel, such as Micah and Amos, who I've already referred to. Covenants for them were explained in their scripture. The centrality of covenant in our tradition that has continued all these centuries is beautifully expressed in one of our well-known hymns. If you want to pick up a gray hymnal and turn to number 121, "We'll Build a Land." It's a beloved hymn among us. And that articulates so beautifully these ancient principles of covenant, where the text reads, "We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. We'll build a land that can be free." What hopeful texts from the ancients, which are becoming increasingly relevant, especially since heightened threats on loss of land, loss of country, loss of a place to belong through deportation of human beings whose credentials don't conform to new standards is becoming increasingly threatening. I might suggest we owe some thanks to the ancient prophets. Additionally, at least as of last Tuesday morning, I heard the voice of at least one of them in a sermon delivered this past Tuesday morning at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. Perhaps some of you heard it as well. A sermon delivered by the Bishop of the Cathedral, the Right Reverend Marianne Budde. Perhaps some of you have heard it. Perhaps some of you are continuing to watch it. I do encourage you, if you haven't seen it yet, do call it up. Reverend Budde invoked wisdom from that ancient prophet Micah I just referred to. Micah called humanity, the ancients, to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly. In her calm and reverential voice, Reverend Budde delivered these words to the newly elected leadership. Quote, "I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families who fear for their lives. The vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors and faithful members of religious communities." Unquote. Not only did her sermon reference inspiration from the ancients, however, Reverend Budde also invoked the core essence of covenant when she said after the sermon, quote, "I strongly disagree with many of the new leadership's values and assumptions about American society and how to respond to the challenge of our time. But I believe we can disagree respectfully." Disagree respectfully. Reverend Budde knows covenant. May we all have the courage that she demonstrated on Tuesday morning and continues to demonstrate. Yeah. Getting back to our covenant workshop then for this Saturday. Our focus on values will be we will focus on values during the workshop. Think about values, that is, what do values mean? What is of worth? What is of importance? What is of usefulness? What helps create principles for behavior? This Saturday will be the first of probably 4 sessions devoted to creating this all-congregation covenant. Perhaps a reminder about the new common values statement known as Article 2 can help illustrate what we mean by UU values, as you can see on the back of the printed order of service for the folks who are here in the room. And I will articulate for everyone those values that are on the back of the order of service, which has liberating love as the center. Remember, love is the center. Love is the glue that holds this faith together. And in our new values statement, love is surrounded by 6 other values: transformation, equity, pluralism, interdependence, justice, and generosity. So perhaps with Article 2 as a model, you might begin thinking about the central values you want to promote and express in our workshop this coming Saturday. I also want to clarify that in any given community, such as this congregation, multiple layers of covenant exist simultaneously. Some of you have wondered about this, so I want to review this again. My sense is that for some, this may not be totally clear. For example, a covenant for new members is read during the new member ceremony. And by the way, the next one coming up here will be on February 16th. We have a covenant statement within that ceremony. But additionally, many of your small groups have covenants. And we often agree to a covenant for a particular exercise, such as the history wall, which is currently at the back of the sanctuary. I remind you who are here in the room to have an invite to read the postings on the history wall. The covenant project, which begins on Saturday, is to create a statement that is congregation-wide, which grounds all actions across the board in this congregation. This Friday in the weekly email, we will include some more specific information about this workshop on Saturday. I don't want to take time right now to do nitty-gritty details that are better put into writing. And then let me offer a few tips for creating a covenant. There's 4 necessary qualities, so however you want to keep them in mind. 4 necessary qualities. First, a covenant is written by the persons under the covenant, not delivered by some outside authority. To be clear, my friends, this all-congregation covenant is created by you, the participants in this community. As your current professional minister, it is my role to bring you the process, but it is you who create the covenant. This is not a top-down from the professional leadership. This is you who create the covenant, and then also you who live in covenant and with accountability. And just you think I'm not subject to other covenants, I'm in covenant with my fellow ministers, for example, in the UU Ministers Association. And I'm part of many other covenants. And then once the all-congregation covenant is approved, any of us who participate in this community will agree to abide by the terms, by the conditions of that covenant. So we're all part of this. It is you who will create the statement. So the second quality for a covenant, it's vital, readily available, and easily repeated. So I would suggest keep it brief, maybe 25 to 35 words, so that you can easily recall it and repeat it. I know there's some other covenant statements in some past work. Some of them are really quite long. I'm calling you to something that conveys meaning easily and directly. And then third, a covenant should be reviewed frequently to keep its energy alive. And fourth, a covenant is always open to revision. One final comment about covenant, and then I'm going to invite your discerning with one another for just 2 or 3 minutes. We usually think of covenant as explicit, that is, promises which we intentionally practice. I would be remiss if I didn't offer a reminder to be mindful about implicit covenants. That is, values and actions which take hold, perhaps without our even being aware of them, as they lurk in communities, in families, in workplaces. It's important to stay alert to implicit covenants, especially if they have negative implications, like resisting change, or while interacting mostly with others, even as we say we promote diversity and inclusion. So the phrase, oh, we've always done it like that, might be a clue that there's some implicit covenant going on. So you might just notice. Yeah. And this topic of inclusion we'll unpack more deeply when we move into February's worship theme of inclusion. All right, I would like to invite all of you online and in the room to get engaged for, we're going to say 3 minutes. I will be your timekeeper. I would like to invite you to turn to at least one other person, preferably not someone you share the same address with, and tell each other briefly 2 points. Tell each other what you understand a covenant is and what value you most want to promote in the new congregation covenant. If you're visiting here this morning, apply those guidelines as you wish to your own current context, your work environment, or your family. So tell each other, what is a covenant? What value do you most want to promote? 3 minutes, go. Let's come back together. Oh, you are a lively bunch this morning. The snow makes you frisky. I know that walking together in covenant might feel risky, especially after harm has occurred. I invite you to consider that in the space of risk lies a fundamental religious quality of transformation. Think about any risk in your life and how it's changed you. Doesn't the capacity to emerge from harm and brokenness toward beloved community feel hopeful? In this congregation, in our families, our communities, in this country, in these times of political uncertainty, when we so desperately need connections, grace, and forgiveness. As our closing hymn says, love will guide us. It always has. My friends, may we walk well together during this time of interim ministry and during this time of political threats and uncertainty. May all this be so. And we go out singing about love. I invite you in body or spirit to rise. In the hymnal, it's number 131, and on the screen, love will guide us. It always has.
Inside us.
friends, I invite you to remain standing in body or spirit as we extinguish our chalice. Please join in the words. We extinguish this chalice. And now as we go out, I invite you, as you wish, to connect physically, metaphorically, with those around you, maybe joining hands or arms or spirits. Again, invoking the words of Reverend Marianne Buddy, Episcopal priest of Washington, D.C., Episcopal bishop of Washington, D.C. May grace and hope and the spirit of life grant us all the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to act justly, to show mercy, to speak the truth in love, and to walk humbly with one another and all that we consider sacred, for the good of all the people of this nation and of the world. Amen. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. Blessed be. I invite you to resume your seats for Eric, who's going to tell you what's next.
There's one more part coming. Our Vice President of the Board, Nancy DeLaura, is going to do our announcements today.
Good morning. So I do have a few announcements this morning. First, this afternoon from 3 to 5 p.m., the Longmont UU Presence, or LOOP, in partnership with Together Colorado, will host Our Songs of Faithful Resistance at the United Church of Christ in Longmont. LOOP invites us to join with others from liberal spiritual communities in sharing traditions of faithful resistance. Bring a song or other tradition from your community that speaks to these times. We'll learn from each other, get to know one another, and reaffirm that none of us are alone. We hope this event will be the starting point of ongoing mutual support and action. For details, contact Kathy Partridge. Another announcement from the Committee on Shared Ministries comes this reminder about the important meeting of our minds and hearts this Saturday, February 1st, 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. here at the Fellowship. We'll begin crafting our all-congregation covenant. We'll hear an update on our 3 congregational priorities, and we'll learn about our various fellowship councils. And if all of that isn't incentive enough to attend, a light breakfast will be served. Yeah. Please note, Zoom participation is offered at the same link used for Sunday services, and childcare will be provided. Another announcement. After the service today, the transition team is offering an in-person only gathering to discuss chapters in the book In the Interim. This is the collection of essays describing the experiences of other congregations as they prepared to search for a new minister. Whether you've read the chapters from the book or not, we encourage you to get your coffee and return to the sanctuary at 11:30 for conversation. Childcare is provided. And lastly, we have a celebration today, although I think the subject of our celebration is busy doing her job. Oh, she's here! Oh, great! Come on up. We are celebrating this month Kitty's 5-year anniversary with us. And for those of you who don't know Kitty, she's our Director of Children and Youth Programming. So Kitty, congratulations.
Thank you.
And here's a card from the
Yay.
congregation.
Thanks, y'all. If there are any parents in here today, we have parent respite space after the service, so you can go get your coffee and chill out and read a book and have some special treats.
May there be 5 more years and many more.
Thank you, everyone.